Stellar Lumens. This is a project that is closely related to Ripple and has grown leaps and bounds in the past few years. So if you're already invested in this project or are curious about it, then all you have to do to learn more is just keep on watching. Hi everyone, my name is Kevin, I'm from BFB, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 5 of Real Talk on Crypto Coins, where we cover the hottest projects as requested by you guys, our communities. In these episodes, we take a look at the project and cover the good and the bad, no shilling, no FUD. So if you can support us real quick by smashing that like button and subscribing down below if you haven't already, that would help us immensely. Okay, so let's take a look at Stellar Lumens. Okay, so what is Stellar Lumens real quick for those of you who don't know? Well, it is a payment platform focused on cross-border payment solutions for the unbanked. So basically they're putting out financial products and services using cryptocurrency for people in countries that may not have a really developed financial system. They were a forked project from Ripple back in 2014 by McCaleb and Joyce, and they have established themselves as a non-profit foundation to kind of differ from Ripple because Ripple is for-profits. They also built a unique Stellar consensus protocol that is based on the Federated Byzantine Agreement family of algorithms. They also have very notable partnerships with IBM, Deloitte, and more, and the native currency is called XLM, and it's used mainly for spam protections in terms of transaction fees and minimum account balances, and also as a bridge currency. If you want to convert like Great Britain pound to like Japanese yen, you can use XLM as a bridge currency for that trade. So of course, this is not meant to be an in-depth overview. I encourage you to take a closer look if you want to learn more about Stellar, but in this video, I want to talk mainly about the pros and cons. So let's start with the pros. The first big advantage in my opinion is how they have a different vision than Ripple. First of all, they have a more altruistic mission where they're trying to focus on helping the unbanked in like Africa, the Philippines, other poor countries around the world that can use crypto to kind of get access to financial solutions that they didn't have in the past. Furthermore, their Stellar consensus protocol allows them to have a more decentralized network because anyone can run a validator node and you can choose your own people to trust, and the Stellar consensus protocol is still able to function and create consensus across the entire network. Also, they have a token platform in which you can launch your own tokens and ICOs. There are a handful of ICOs that have decided to launch on the Stellar platform, Mobius being a notable one, and some reasons why they would want to do so is because they have a built-in decentralized exchange function, which makes it easy to trade your tokens once past ICO, more security because it's not as open and unrestricted as Ethereum is in terms of the smart contract abilities. There are various things you can customize, and also the transaction fees and the speed and the network scalability is all a lot better than other platform options out there. Third, the usability of the Stellar network is a big advantage. If you want to compare it to just Bitcoin and Ethereum, the block confirmation times are way longer than Stellar. The average transaction fees are way higher than Stellar, like orders of magnitudes I'm talking about. The scalability or throughput is way lower than Stellar's. So for all those reasons, many companies may want to transact on the Stellar network so that they don't have to experience those ridiculous fees or long wait times or freeze ups of the network. But of course, not every project is perfect, so let's take a look at some of the cons of Stellar Lumens. First of all, in my opinion, the constant inflation is something you have to think about if you want to be an investor in this project, because they have a built-in fixed inflation of 1% every year. And I do want to note that these lumens are distributed accounts that get over 0.05% of the votes, but that is a lot of Stellar Lumens you have to hold. So most average Joes like you and I won't get 0.05% of the votes from other accounts. Instead, we have to form a pool and then get those Stellar Lumens distributed to us. But regardless, this is notably different than like Bitcoin or Ripple, which are more deflationary, and a lot of people on the economics front don't like crypto coins that don't have a max cap of supply, so that's something to think about in terms of the investment aspect of this project. They also have huge competitors. On one side, they have Ripple for the worldwide cross-border money transfer solutions. Ripple has a lot more huge partnerships from banks all over the world utilizing their products already, so if Stellar wants to gain a foothold in that market, they're going to have an uphill battle to fight against Ripple, which is much more connected and much more established so far. On the other side, on the token platforms, you of course have Ethereum, which is the king of the hill in that area. And while Stellar is able to siphon off some people onto their platform for ICO purposes, Ethereum still has the vast majority because of the comfort, the well-known abilities. You have a really well-defined process and ecosystem that supports ICOs on Ethereum. So it's going to be a uphill battle to draw customers from that side, not only from Ethereum, but from other competitors in the ICO and token launching space. Third is the centralized supply, because they created 100 billion lumens at the genesis of the Stellar network, but the foundation holds the vast majority of it so far. I mean, this number may be a little bit old, but you can see the updated amounts on the Stellar dashboard. So a lot of people criticize this because even though the Stellar network may be decentralized in terms of anyone can join the network and run a node, but with the Stellar Foundation controlling so much of the supply, it's centralized elsewhere, not in terms of who can run a node, but in terms of the supply, because ultimately the supply has a lot of weight and can affect the network's mechanics, affect the price of the coin depending on how they handle it, and so forth. So you have to put a lot of trust in the Stellar Foundation that they will use this in the best interests of you if you're an investor, which might not always be the case because they might have other considerations like just pure utility or their customers on the network and not necessarily for you, the investor. So that's just something to keep in mind. So my personal thoughts, I really like this project in terms of their mission. They have a really strong team. They have made quite a bit of progress so far. However, I'm hesitant to just dive in and buy these XLM tokens because of various tokenomics and because I ultimately do think they have a tough job on their hands to carve out a piece of markets on both the token platform side and the cross-border financial solution side. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think about Stellar Lumens projects. I know many people in the community really like this project, but it is always good to chat about the pros and cons for every project out there so we can learn and not just throw our money around looking for quick gains. So thank you for watching once again. I really appreciate all of you guys for sticking with me here. If you could give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate that. This is Kevin. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and peace out.